There is a 90-second code that, if sustained, forces reality to reorganize itself around you. This is not a metaphor. It is a neurological and energetic mechanism that only 1% of the population can activate, not due to a lack of ability, but because no one has shown them how. In the next few seconds, you will understand why, even when everything seems to be going well, something always goes wrong, and how this pattern is not bad luck, but an addiction of your own nervous system to a familiar pain. What you're going to learn today isn't a manifestation technique. It's an identity stabilization protocol. I'm going to show you how to use a 90-second window to interrupt the escape cycle that keeps you stuck, and how to transform the discomfort that arises in that silence into the raw material for your greatest evolution. What happens after you sustain this frequency changes the rules of the game. Most will feel the urge to skip this video to seek the next distraction. That urge is exactly the pattern we came to break. Stay, and you'll discover what's on the other side. If you feel you're on the verge of a major change, but something invisible is holding you back, comment, "I am ready to endure." Eckhart Tolle. Before your mind jumps to the next distraction, stop. There's a pattern that has found you at this very moment, a subtle echo of escape that dictates your future. It's not about what you desire, but about the instability that prevents you from receiving. Most people break down before the transformation even begins, not out of weakness, but because their identity is a ship in a storm, and silence is the ocean that reveals all its cracks. This escape is not a conscious choice, it's a conditioned reflex, an automatic movement away from the present moment, because the present has become a place of discomfort. You fill each second with noise, with information, with the next task, not for productivity, but for fear of what you might find in the empty space. This fragmented identity, built on the quicksand of distraction, cannot sustain the energy of a new reality. What you call bad luck or fate is, in fact, the direct consequence of this instability. An opportunity arises, but your internal system, trained for escape, doesn't recognize it. A door opens, but you're too busy running down the opposite corridor. Reality isn't punishing you, it's simply responding to the frequency you emit, and the frequency of escape can only attract more reasons to run away. Do you see how this instability is what really drains your power? It is as if you were trying to run high-performance software on an old computer. The system simply freezes. Think of your life as a symphony. If each instrument plays a different melody at a different tempo, the result is chaos. Your mind wants one thing, your heart feels another, and your body acts in a third way. This internal dissonance is projected outward, creating a life of inconsistent and frustrating results. Coherence is not a mystical state. It is the fundamental alignment that allows the symphony of your life to finally find its harmony. The journey to stabilizing a new frequency begins with the honest recognition of this escape pattern. Not with judgment, but with the clarity of an observer. You need to see how, in moments of stillness, your hand reaches for your phone, your mind seeks a worry, your body fidgets. Each of these movements is a vow to your current identity, a reinforcement of the cycle that keeps you trapped. But there is a turning point, a threshold where the escape can be interrupted, not through force, but through presence. A small time portal where you can choose to observe instead of react, where you can witness the impulse to flee without becoming it. This portal is the key to rewriting the code of your identity. and it is more accessible than you imagine. The mechanics of reality are about to be revealed. The mechanics of reality. Your reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you consistently are. Not who you pretend to be, but who you are when silence arrives. Manifestation isn't mystical, it's mechanical. Your life is a reflection of your dominant inner state, a mirror that shows not your desires, but your coherence. And incoherence, the conflict between what you say you want and what your body feels, creates the delay you so resent. This dominant internal state is your baseline frequency. It's the note you play for the universe 24 hours a day. If your baseline is anxiety, you will attract situations that validate that anxiety. If it's scarcity, you will find evidence of lack everywhere. It's not punishment, it's physical. Like a tuning fork that makes another vibrate at the same frequency, your internal state resonates with corresponding external realities. Most people try to change external reality through effort and action, without ever adjusting their internal frequency. It's like trying to tune a radio by yelling at it instead of turning the dial. You might achieve a momentary result through force, but the static soon returns because the fundamental frequency hasn't changed. True change happens from the inside out, altering the cause, not just managing the effect. Coherence is the alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your self-concept. When these three elements vibrate in unison, you become a laser. Your intention is no longer a vague wish, it's a clear command, supported by a unified energy. It is in this state that reality seems to bend to your will, but what actually happens is that you have aligned yourself with the laws that have always governed manifestation. The problem is that society trains us for inconsistency. We are taught to say yes when we feel no, to smile when we are suffering, to pursue goals that don't resonate with our soul. Each of these acts of misalignment weakens our energy field, creates leaks, and makes us unable to sustain the frequency of our true desires. Integrity is not a moral concept, it is an energetic requirement. To change your reality, you first need to become the master of your own coherence. This requires you to stop lying to yourself. It requires you to feel what you truly feel, think what you truly think, and admit who you truly are in this moment. From this radical honesty, transformation becomes possible. But there's a reason why this honesty is so terrifying. Your system is addicted to the pain you already know. The addiction to family pain. Your nervous system prefers the pain it already knows to the power it cannot control. It seeks drama, predictable worry, the emotional roller coaster, because the silence of power feels empty. This is the invisible cause, a neurological dependence on chaos. The space between thoughts is not empty, it is authorship. But for most, this space is a vacuum to be filled, and this need for filling is self-sabotage in action. This addiction isn't a character flaw, it's a survival mechanism that has become obsolete. At some point in your life, stress, anxiety, or drama were associated with safety. Perhaps chaos was the norm in your home. Perhaps worry was the only way to feel in control. Your brain created neural pathways that equated these negative states with safe predictability. Now calm seems dangerous, and peace strange. Think of it like a chemical addiction. Your body has become accustomed to receiving regular doses of cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. When you try to relax, your system goes into withdrawal. It creates a worrying thought, starts an unnecessary fight, or finds a problem to solve just to get the chemical dose it's used to. You're not consciously sabotaging yourself, your body is simply craving its drug. That's why, when things start to go right, something often happens. You get a raise and suddenly your car breaks down. You find a healthy relationship and start looking for flaws. It's not the universe testing you, it's your nervous system trying to drag you back to the comfort zone of familiar pain, the only territory it truly knows and trusts. Success and happiness are foreign and frightening lands. The space between thoughts, that place of stillness that meditation seeks, is the gateway to breaking this addiction. It is in this silence that you can observe the impulse to seek drama without acting upon it. It is the place where the authorship of your life can be reclaimed. But for the addicted to pain, this silence is deafening. It is a mirror that reflects the emptiness they try to fill with noise, and facing it requires immense courage. Liberation from this pattern doesn't come from fighting against it, but from understanding it. You need to see the mechanism in action, with the compassion of someone observing an old program running on a computer. Each time you choose not to feed the addiction, not to bite the bait of drama, you weaken the old neural pathway and begin to build a new one. This is where you stop being a victim of your past and become the architect of your future, finding the sovereign observer. The sovereign observer. To access authorship, you need to find the observer. The observer state is not detachment from life, it is sovereignty over it. It is where consciousness becomes primary, emotion becomes a choice, and self-concept becomes fluid. When these three synchronize, reality stops reacting to you and begins to respond to you. You are no longer adrift. You are at the helm, and the helm is your presence. The observer is that part of you that perceives your thoughts without being the thoughts themselves. It is the silent awareness that witnesses anger, joy, fear, but never becomes any of those emotions. Most people live fused with the contents of their minds. They believe they are their worries, their stories, their pains. The observer is the space that allows all these things to exist without identifying with any of them. Finding that observer is an act of differentiation. It's like realizing that you are not the film, but the screen on which the film is projected. The film may be a drama, a comedy, or a horror, but the screen remains intact, unaltered. When you establish yourself as the screen, emotions lose their power to hijack you. They become information, clouds passing in the sky of your consciousness, instead of storms that define you. From this place of sovereignty, self-concept becomes malleable. You realize that the identity you've defended for so long is just a collection of thoughts, memories, and beliefs. It's not who you are, it's a construct. And if it's a construct, it can be deconstructed and reconstructed. You gain the freedom to choose who you want to be at each moment, instead of being a slave to the person you were yesterday. This synchronicity between consciousness, the observer, emotion, the energy in motion, and self-concept, the chosen identity, creates a state of unshakable inner coherence. You become a point of stability in a universe of flux. Your actions are no longer impulsive reactions based on old wounds, but conscious responses aligned with your highest vision. You stop wasting energy on internal conflicts and direct it towards creation. This is not a passive state. The sovereign observer is not indifferent. He is intensely present. He acts with precision and power because his actions come from a place of clarity, not reactivity. He doesn't need to force results because he has become the cause. Now, let's transform this philosophy into a concrete practice, a tool you can use to cut the threads of your old programming, the 90-second window. The 90-second window practice. Now, an immediate application. Close your eyes. For 90 seconds, your only task is to remain aware without reacting. A thought arises, observe it. An emotion rises, observe it. The body wants to move, observe it. Don't follow, don't suppress, don't resist. Just don't reinforce. Every time you react automatically, you vote back into your old identity. Every time you remain present, you create space for a new baseline. The science of neuroplasticity shows us that an emotional or chemical impulse, such as anger or anxiety, takes about 90 seconds to travel through the body and dissipate, unless it is fed back by thought. Think about it. The entire wave of a chemical reaction lasts only a minute and a half. What makes it last for hours, days, or years is your mind clinging to it, repeating the story, justifying the feeling, and essentially pressing the replay button. This 90-second practice is an act of neurological disobedience. It's you saying to your automatic system, "I see you, but I will no longer blindly obey." When the impulse to pick up the phone, to respond angrily, or to wallow in worry arises, you simply observe it. You feel its energy in your body, the urgency, the tension. But you don't move. You become the anchor in the middle of the storm. At first, those 90 seconds will seem like an eternity. Your mind will scream for distraction. Your body will feel uncomfortable. This is a good sign. It means you are interrupting a deeply ingrained pattern. You are literally rewiring your brain, weakening the neural pathways of reactivity and strengthening those of mindful presence. Each session is a repetition in the gym of your consciousness. It's not about emptying your mind or feeling at peace. The goal is equanimity, the ability to be with whatever arises, pleasant or unpleasant, without being carried away by it. It's the practice of being the sky, not the cloud. The cloud of anxiety may pass, the cloud of boredom may arise, but you remain as the open and conscious space that allows everything to come and go. Do this several times a day, in traffic, in the coffee line, before a meeting. Transform moments of waiting into portals of practice. Each 90-second window in which you remain present is a vote for a new identity, one that is stable, centered, and sovereign. You are building the capacity to sustain a new frequency, but to do so, you will have to cross the portal of discomfort. The alchemy of discomfort. Within those 90 seconds, discomfort will arise. It's not danger, it's the unknown stillness. Your mind, addicted to solving problems, will seek one. Your body, accustomed to tension, will crave stimulation. This is the raw material of your transformation. Discomfort is the heat of the alchemical furnace, burning away the lead of your old identity to reveal the gold of your essence. Embrace it like weights in the gym. It is strengthening your spiritual muscles. The Stoic tradition teaches us about the inner citadel, a fortress of tranquility that can be built by voluntarily exposing oneself to small doses of discomfort. By sitting with the agitation for 90 seconds, you are not torturing yourself, you are training your resilience. You are teaching your nervous system that it can tolerate uncertainty, that it doesn't need constant stimulation to feel safe. Jungian psychology speaks of the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we repress and reject. During practice, these shadows will surface: boredom, irritation, sadness, shame. The automatic tendency is to run away from them. Alchemical practice is to do the opposite, to turn to them with curiosity. What is this boredom? Where do I feel it in my body? What story does it tell? By illuminating the shadow with your consciousness, you integrate it. And what once controlled you from the basement of your psyche now becomes a source of power. This process is true alchemy, the transmutation of a base substance, discomfort, fear, pain, into a higher substance, presence, peace, wisdom. The heat that allows this transformation is your sustained attention. By keeping your awareness focused on the discomfort, without judgment and without reaction, you literally cook the trapped energy, allowing it to transform and release itself. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding this heat.
So if you've made it this far, take a moment and really feel the energy of this message. Because holding a frequency isn't about forcing positivity or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing who you are in the middle of uncertainty. It's about staying aligned with the version of yourself that already knows things are shifting behind the scenes. Right now, something is reorganizing in your life. Doors that once felt locked are starting to loosen, and paths you couldn't see before are quietly forming. But the universe responds to consistency, not moments of doubt. So hold the frequency. Hold the vision of the life you know is possible. Hold the belief that everything unfolding right now is guiding you somewhere greater. Because the moment most people give up is usually the moment right before everything changes. And if you can stay steady just a little longer, if you can remain aligned with the energy of the future you're calling in, then what's about to arrive in your life may be bigger than anything you've imagined. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from becoming the frequency that can receive it.